I wanted to bypass this tree and catch me along there. So just gonna fly my straight path, and that looks perfect. Oh no, the hell is that thing? Jeez. There is one feature I rely on more than anything else with these drones. One movement that lets me film myself in a way that feels natural and effortless. It's a trick that turns a simple push forward into a floating cinematic glide. A control that frees my hands so I can focus on the story instead of the sticks. And it's something these drones can do that many people don't even know about. A hidden tool that changes the way you fly the moment you try it. That feature is called cruise control, and today we're taking a closer look at it. I'm the Jaunting Ape. Welcome to my channel, and the world is yours. So pretty much that entire opening scene was me filming with the autopilot. Now, these drones are so much more than just meant for landscapes and buildings and stuff from the bird's eye view. Today's video, we're talking about cruise control and how and why I use it to film myself as a solo creator. It's super simple. All you need is three things. You need a drone, the Mini 4, the Mini 5, the Air 3S, the Mavic 3 and 4 all have this built into them. You're gonna need a DJI wireless mic, or I guess any wireless mic works. I'm using the DJI Mic 2, which has been an incredible little power horse, except for one thing. It is the data transfer. When you're trying to pull the files off here onto Windows 11, it is god awful. I've reached out to a few YouTubers in comments to see if they're having the same issue with the Mic 3, but nobody has answered me yet. So if you've got a Mic 3, then let me know in the comments if the data transfer is any better. And the third thing you need is balls so that you can turn off the obstacle avoidance here with this. That was close. So now I'm doing that exact same shot again, but this time I'm using active track. And this is just the difference that you get with it. It's not fluid. It's not very cinematic. It doesn't work out very well in the end. So I've got my DJI Nano on now, and I'm going to show you how I set a shot up like I did for the opening one here. This is easy. So easy, in fact, that there's no excuse for not doing it. First thing we're gonna do is click on the three dots on the top right, and we're gonna get into the menu and swipe over to Control. Once inside Control, we are going to scroll just about all the way down until we see button customization. And once in there, we're looking at the C1 or C2 button. I would suggest I set the C1 as my cruise control, but you can set it up however you want. Now, if we go inside there, you can see all these wonderful little things that we can change. Pretty cool stuff here. The auxiliary light is another thing I use quite a bit. The next thing that we're going to want to do is slide on up to gain and expo tuning. This is going to let us change how quickly the little bird flies. So I'm going to get into the sport mode, and what I'm going to do is bring it down to the same settings as my cinematic. I want this thing to be flying low and slow, and I want it in sport mode because I don't want the obstacle avoidance on, so I can have the balls to fly near and dear to subjects like trees. All right, so first I kind of scope out the shot, and I'm going to want to walk kind of along that little creek area there. And what I'm going to do is line the drone up, so I'll just get it in the air here. Probably have to switch over to the Mic 3 so I can do the noise cancellation. There we go. So I basically run my path. Hey, I want it to come about this far. I'm going to look behind me. What I did in that opening shot was I had it come right through here, and I was only about an inch from this. There was no breeze then, so it wasn't moving around, but that was just luck. I did nail that on my first shot, which is pretty special, but I wanted to bypass this tree and catch me along there. So just gonna fly my straight path, and that looks perfect. Oh no, The hell is that thing? Jeez. Okay, back to it here. Giant bugs here in Bali. It's the fire ants you gotta watch for. You don't, not the rugby-sized black friggin' mystery bug. Okay, so now we are where we want to be. The little bugger is gonna try and fly all over the place because I've got obstacle avoidance on. So, gonna switch it to sport mode, and now we're good. And I'm gonna hold the right thumbstick back, and as it gets to the speed I want it to get to, I'll hit that C1 button that I programmed, and we got aircraft in cruise control. And now we've got a smooth flight that isn't going to go anywhere. The wind is picking up, so I'm a little curious to see how this one turns out. It's quite windy right now. That's probably why that monster bug was flying around, catching a free drift with the wind. Well, filming with this cruise control, my favorite thing to do is to film myself. There are other ways you can use it. You can lock in different movements on the drone, including the gimbal movement. So it does come in handy for filming structures, buildings, any kind of point of interest that is stationary. So I don't have a whole bunch around here, but there is a pretty cool looking tree over there. So I'm gonna check it out and show you how to do that. Okay, so there's my big handsome tree. What I'm gonna do is lock my exposure on the tree. I'm gonna start my orbit here to the left. So right thumbstick to the left with cruise control. And I'm gonna bring that right thumbstick to that left thumbstick to the right. Get it centered on the tree. There's a good orbit right there. And I'll hit that cruise control again. So now we're locked on like this. Perfectly centered on the tree, and I'm flying hands-free now. It's just doing its thing. So I'm gonna add some lift to the drone. So left thumbstick up. Hit the C1, and then I'm going to start to bring the gimbal down very slowly. And hit that C1 again. And here's what we end up with. Perfectly hands-free. And it can do this all darn day. The drone is flying in cruise control. A small but mighty feature that DJI's got hidden in the settings. Again, I don't like to use it for buildings, structures, things like that. I think it's best for filming yourself. If you enjoyed this video, and I hope you did, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Maybe give it a like. I'm the Jaunting Ape, and the world is yours, my friends. See if we're gonna crash here. Oh boy.